Hi, good morning. Hi, guys. We'll just wait a couple more seconds. We're still waiting for. There you go. Hi, Olivia. Are you on YouTube? I think.
I am.
Okay, perfect.
I'm just getting everything all booted up.
All right, thank you. Okay, good morning. My name is PJ. I'm the International Recruitment Graduate Assistant here at the Carney Center. And
Hi, I'm Arshad. I'm the lead international enrollment assistant at the Carney International Center.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and I'm one of the GAs at the Carney International Center.
and then today we're just going to talk about housing. I don't know, should we wait a couple minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. We're just going to wait a couple minutes, but if you guys want to tell us where you're from or anything in the chat, you can. But yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's really early for me right now, so I'm like, I haven't had my coffee yet. Yeah, we can wait a couple minutes.
You're fine.
Yeah, we can wait like 2 more minutes. How was your night yesterday, Olivia?
It was good. It was good. It was really nice out yesterday, so I actually ended up going home and going for a run, and it was really nice. Then there's like some good trails around here, so me and my mom went to Red Jacket, and she met me there. It was pretty nice.
I like that. What about you?
Yesterday I was just plain exhausted. We had like a long weekend this time, so
Oh, yeah,
we just
that's
went
true.
around to Minneapolis. It was fun.
Yeah, you were there all weekend
Yeah.
for your long weekend,
Yeah,
right?
for 4 days I was in Minneapolis. It was fun. Then finally I got a day to
4 days
rest.
in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Valley Fair.
Did you get
Valley
an
Fair.
We finished everything.
Okay.
Yeah, all the rides. Everything was fun.
I like that.
Were any other rides shut down? Because every time I've went, like, there's always been like one of like the OG rides that have been like shut down.
Really?
Yeah, I think we've went every year, and it's either been like the one that like shoots you backward and then front and it loops that's shut down, or it's like the old rickety ones.
Oh, I think everything was open this time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
You lucked out, I guess.
Oh yeah. Was it busy though? Because it was 4th of July
Oh,
weekend.
it was. It was. We went on like July 3rd, and then it was like it was not as busy, but that was like it was also pretty much like the hottest day, so it was like extremely tiring.
Yeah.
All right,
Do it.
we should probably get started. So today we're just going to talk about finding housing or the options that you do have as a student if you're coming in, because I know that it can be really overwhelming because there's a lot of options. So we'll talk about. So there are 3 options that you could look at if you're coming in for school here. You can either live on campus. That would be the closest for you in terms of getting to class, getting back to class. We also have a university apartment, so it's affiliated with the university, but it is off campus. So if you decide to stay there, you'd still, in a way, be associated with the university dorms. And then you could also live off campus that is like completely separate from the university. So if you sign a lease or anything, it wouldn't be contingent with campus, or you wouldn't be paying the school, you would be paying it completely separately. So there are a lot of options to consider, obviously. Ashit's lived on campus before. I've never lived on campus. When I first got here, I immediately looked for housing off campus. Olivia, I believe.
I've never lived on campus. I've
Yes.
only ever lived
So
on campus.
hopefully this will be like a good balance of like trying to figure out where you would want to stay, since we do have someone that has lived on campus. Why don't you tell us about like, so, okay, sorry, my bad. So on-campus housing, do you want to talk about it a little bit in terms of how you selected the room that you selected, or how the application process was?
Yeah, okay. So basically, my first step was so I was coming here as a completely like new student, and then I had no idea what was happening. And at that point, I was just looking at like all the different options that was given to me, but also I was looking at like an affordable option from my side. So I looked at the renovated single gender option, right? So I moved into Crawford, which is basically a two sharing room options, where I had like one other roommate staying with me, and in general, the room was very cozy and it was very convenient for me because it was like very close to campus. And since I joined in the spring semester, it was very convenient because most of the buildings are interconnected. So that was like very convenient for me. And one of the best parts is the dining center, which came with it. Okay, so these are the options that I was like considering before I moved in. So dining center pretty much gave us like food options, and there were like meal plans that let us like pick meals whenever we wanted. So we can just go, we can eat like based on the plan that you choose, you can go eat whenever you want, and basic you can it's all like healthy food and all of the other different choices. But when it came to room, I chose renovated because it was kind of affordable. And also at the same time, I didn't want to share my room with like a lot of people. So I just chose like the two share room option.
So yeah, like with the housing types, you can either go for a basic, which is, I believe, the most affordable. I'm pretty sure they're getting rid of basic relatively soon, or they've already gotten rid of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either of that.
I know that they were renovating all the basics to become a renovated, but essentially you do share the room with one other person. However, you have your own space on either side. It comes fully furnished, so that means you won't have to buy furniture when you move in. When you move out, you don't have to take any of the big furniture, which is very convenient. The semi-suites are definitely our biggest ones. Yes, they're definitely the biggest dorm rooms that you could take. You have your own bathroom that you share. So you can either get a single where it's just you. That's the most expensive.
That's most expensive.
Or you could get it with, there's two people in the room, and then you have a bathroom right in the middle, and then you have two other people on the other side. So you guys are sharing the bathroom. However, it's like four people sharing the bathroom. So it's very convenient, and you can lock the door on either side so no one can come in or out. So in terms of like the dorm rooms, there's definitely flexibility with like how much you're willing to spend. If you live on campus, you do have to get a meal plan. And meal plans, there's tons of options. I'm actually going to put the link for the dorm room rates and stuff in the chat right now. That way you guys can kind of look at it as I'm talking about it, because it's really hard to envision it when someone's just saying it and you can't look at the rates. Aren't they like usually a year long?
Usually
The contract?
yeah. But it depends. If you're coming in during spring, then they usually give you like lease for 6 months, because that's what I got. Since I came in spring semester, I got like 6 month lease.
So I just added the link for on-campus housing rates in the chat. So feel free to look at it. So as you can see, there's also meal plan rates in there. There's like 4 different meal plans you can get. Even if you're living off campus and you still want to eat at the dorm, that's fine. I mean, not the dorm, the university dining, that's totally fine. You can still purchase a meal plan. You don't have to be living on campus to get a meal plan. So if you're someone that doesn't like to cook, sorry, what?
I did that.
So if you're someone that doesn't like to cook, or if you're living off campus and your kitchen is like small or whatever, and you're like, I really don't want to cook, you could totally come on campus and eat. And like Ashrit said, all the buildings on campus, most of them are connected with the tunnel, underground tunnel or overhead. What do you call it?
A bridge.
A bridge. So in the winter, and when there's like a lot of snow, that's like the best part about living on campus is if you want to go to class and it's like 8 a.m. and it's like snowing out, you can just like go through the tunnels and you don't necessarily have to be out in the cold for too long, versus living on campus where you'd have to take the bus or walk to school or whatever. But yeah, for the application process, it's pretty simple as I've kind of filled it out here. You have to confirm your enrollment, as in you have to confirm that you will be coming to Minnesota State Mankato. Go into e-services, log in with your star ID and password, just how you normally do. And then you would go into the housing application, you fill it out. Do they do a roommate matching?
No. So basically, they just take like a preference, like there's like a form that you have to fill out, and then usually it's just like match. Like it's not something that.
I thought they do a roommate matching, but I don't think it's that
No, again, it depends on if you're coming in spring,
mm-hmm.
then it's usually like what are the rooms that are available. Then they just place you there. But if you're coming in fall, then they usually have like roommate matching and all of that.
Yeah, so I know that the roommate matching application's also with the forms.
Yeah, it's in the form itself.
So yeah, like he said, if you're coming in the fall, I feel like you'd have more availability and you'd have like more. You'd probably get the choice that you want. They do go out really fast, so that's something I do want to mention. Is if you are interested in living on campus, you need to put in an application right away. I believe it's already. Also check the website because sometimes if it's full, they will let you know that it's full. Especially in the fall, they go out really fast. And then you just purchase a meal plan. You do have to do a prepayment. If I want to say $250, it was $250. So you do have a prepayment that you do have to make if you you filled out the application, you are contacted. They're like, yeah, we do have this room available. You have to do a prepayment, and then they send you a contract, and then you purchase a meal plan, and then you move in. Sounds like a lot now that I'm saying it, but if you are interested, all the pictures, like I sent you the link, all the pictures are there. You can also stay there in the summer. If you're like staying in the summer, you also have that availability, but I know that you have to start really early. If you want to get off campus, it's usually a 9-month to a year-long lease. So you can't necessarily just leave unless you have medical reasons or like there's something really circumstantial that's happened. Otherwise, you are kind of stuck with that 9-month lease. So also keep that in mind. Unless you come in the spring, then that's 6 months.
6 months.
Does anybody have any questions so far? Because I feel like I keep talking and I feel like I'm confusing people. I hope we're not. I hope we're making things pretty clear. And then this is a university apartment off campus. So same thing. They do have very similar types of room types available. It would be the same process in terms of submitting your application. It's the same process is what I want to say. It's not that close to campus, but we do have buses that take you to this apartment and bring you back for free. That's another thing that we do want to also talk about is if you are coming here as a student and you're living off campus and you're worried about having to come to campus, your student ID card works as a bus pass at the same time. So if you're coming to campus and you find the bus stop, you just have to show the driver the student ID, or we call it MAF card, and that's all you would have to do. Do you have anything to say about like living on campus?
I'd say like from a student's perspective, when I initially like moved in here, I kind of found it like expensive. But also at the same time, now that I'm living off campus, I also found like how convenient it is to stay on campus, especially when it's like really cold, and in general just food. And I feel like that was like the major part of on-campus housing for me. Like that's like the plus points of the on-campus housing for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like when you're on campus too, I feel like a big benefit of living on campus is all the connections that you make. I feel like when you do live on campus, you are agreeing to sort of almost, because here's how it would go for me is sorry about that. I always forget to share the link on YouTube. It's not intentional. I'm really sorry. I just shared it so you can look at the rates at the same time. My bad, my bad. Um, I feel like with living on campus, you have access to the learning community, which is basically, say you're a nursing student and you decide to live on campus and you specify that you want to be in the nursing learning community. They will place you on the same floor with other students that are also a nursing major. So you're basically living with people that are the same major you are, and most of them are starting at the same time you are. And so you kind of create a bond with these other people. And it's really nice, especially like with nursing. I know a lot of our big programs have learning communities. I will also look for that link and put that in both chats this time.
Also, for the comment on this, like biking, I bike to campus. I started doing it last spring, and there's a lot of great like bike racks around here. You can also purchase bike locks, and it's a great, and everything's super close, like PJ said. You know, campus is it's spread out, but it's also really close. Everything is within walking distance, so yeah. There's a lot of
I
great
used to,
trails around here, and fall is beautiful. So like getting out on the trails during fall, also during campus, is pretty cool. Yeah.
I used to work as a tour guide, and I'm pretty sure we were told that it only takes 15 minutes to get from one end of the campus to the other end.
Yeah,
So
it's not
it's pretty
big.
spread out, but at the same time, it's pretty like congregated. Um, but yeah, so university apartments, again, like Olivia said, you could totally bike. Yes, you could
Yeah.
if you lived off campus.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I did have something else to say. I forgot. Did you guys want to add anything?
I think transportation too. There is an app that you can get to for like the buses for MSU. I have it that kind of like helps you with like finding which bus to take as well, which orientation will kind of help with. Um, but yeah, the transportation part is your MAV card is kind of like the gatekeeper to that.
So I just found a couple more links about what learning communities we have on campus. So if you're in any of these programs, maybe it's worth considering because we have like aviation, business, dental hygiene, engineering, entrepreneurship and innovation, esports and gaming learning community.
This is new.
What? This is new. So apparently we have esports and gaming learning community. That's pretty cool. And then exploring health communities. So that would be more of like working in the healthcare field. Um, Teaching careers. Oh my God, there's so many. So yeah, if you're in any of these career paths or you're choosing to, um, definitely something to consider. Um, I do wish.
Especially like meeting people from
Hold on, I
here,
think we got
understanding the culture.
disconnected.
Yeah, you guys are. Oh no. No, housing off campus too, like it's pretty spread out and it just depends on what your preference is too. I think if you prefer more to have more of an off campus lifestyle as well, or if you want to be more interactive on campus, Personally, when I came to campus, I'm really involved in. I was really involved in my undergrad program, and I wanted to be able. My undergrad was in history, and I was kind of going back and forth, and I wanted to be super close so I could run back to campus and go to the library and hang out with all my friends. So it made the decision to live off campus super, super easy, and with my friends super easy. Um, that was a pretty good, like, I guess I get like a pretty good decision maker for me when I wanted to live off campus. It's also living in Mankato is also very cost effective, I guess, compared to other cities. It just depends on what your preference is as well. Yeah, you're back.
We're back. Hello.
I was just
Sorry.
talking about like how when I lived on campus, like as an undergrad, I liked kind of coming back and forth, being like running to the library type of thing. Very nerdy, but it works.
It does. And then I feel like we've touched upon like living on campus for some time now, and I think we could move on to talking about living off campus, which all three of us are right now.
Yeah.
And with living off campus, I do have like just like one slide that I would want to share, but how many roommates do you guys live with? Like how is your living situation currently?
So currently I'm staying in like a 4-bed apartment. So I have like 3 other roommates. So I get like my own room. So it's like a 4-bed, 2-bath. So it's like just two of us sharing like one bathroom, which is different from what I used to have on campus, where we had like a common restroom for like the whole like hall. So that was like the major difference, and also you get like privacy, and also it's like the major part about moving off campus is it's considerably cheaper. Like considering that you'll be paying like at least like monthly and not exactly to the university as like a huge amount is like a major difference that made for me. And also in general, like the monthly rate changes like from where you're staying. But at the moment, I'm paying like around $474 a month, and these last for like a year. So
It's a yearly lease.
Mhm.
I also have a yearly lease. I live by myself right now. It's me and my cat. So we have our own space right now, but I am moving soon to a shared unit because that's definitely more affordable. But in terms of, living off campus, you have so many options to choose from. You can either choose to live completely alone, like I am right now, or you can live with other people. You can even like rent a house if you wanted to. There's so many options. This link here that's on the screen, the first one, that one has I don't want to say all, but a lot of listings that are available currently. So if you're moving in and you don't have a lease yet and you want to live off campus, this might be a good option to look at. I'm gonna have that link here as well. So a lot of things to consider with living off campus, obviously, is the lease. The lease can range from 6 months to a year. There are some places that also do monthlies, but I don't know, as a student, I don't know why. That's just overcomplicating things. A lot of apartments also require a security deposit. I want to say apartments, all of them require a security deposit.
Yeah.
And that can also range. It can range from like $100 to like $500 or even like your entire month's rent. So that's definitely like disposable money that you need to have set aside for that. I also had to pay first month and last month rent at the same time. We all did.
Yeah.
So, if you're coming in as an international student, and you're living off campus, that's definitely something that you have to consider is, do I have the first month rent and the last month rent, and do I have enough for security deposit? So you need to have those when you move in. Subleasing is another option. Have you guys subleased before? Yeah.
Yeah.
So subleasing is basically you're taking over someone else's lease and at the place that they're already living at. But a lot of the times you're taking the apartment as is. So if you can't see the apartment in person or you can't get pictures, I'd be a little cautious about that because there could be damages to the apartment that you don't know about, that when you move in, you're taking the apartment, you're taking it over as your own. And so in the end, when you move out, you're going to be responsible for all the damages there. So be careful about that. I've also subleased before. It was a really simple process for me, but I was already here. So I could just go. I went and looked at the apartment before I took over. Is that what you did?
No, so for me, it was like I got back home during COVID, and then it was like I was in India for like 7 months, so I just wanted like it was like mid lease. I came back I think around like March, and when that happened, I moved into Summit in Jacob Heights. So like I didn't really see the apartment, but I definitely saw pictures of it, and I was like, it's not bad. And I knew the person who I was subleasing it from, so I knew I could trust him when it came to that part. Then we came to like a mutual agreement, and then I just took over his lease and started staying in that apartment.
I'm sure
Let's say let's say like this is the route some students want to go. How would they want to go about doing the subleasing route? Like, how would they find people to sublease from?
I just posted the current listings thing on in the chat, so they could look at that. If you're coming in here in the fall, I feel like there'd be enough apartments to not take this route because I feel like this just complicates things a lot more. There's a lot of availabilities currently in the link that I just sent you. So go ahead and look at that. A lot of these apartments are, again, very, very close to campus. If you go to scroll to the bottom of that link, you'll see all the current listings and how many rooms they have available and what kind of bedroom settings. So look at that. Some units do come furnished. So that means they already have furniture in there. So you don't need to buy, extra furniture, especially if you don't intend to live there for longer than a year. My unit didn't come furnished, so I had to get all the mattress, the bed frame, my study desk, everything I had to buy separately. So that was additional cost, and that's something that also you need to consider as a student coming here. That hey, my apartment might not be furnished. Did yours come furnished?
Yeah. So Summit does give out like furnished apartments. So my apartment, I didn't really have to buy furniture. It was just basic items like example curtains, and then like laptop stands or something basic like that. It's not exactly like the furniture itself that I had to buy. But yeah, my apartment came furnished, even with like a bed frame, like 2 tables, 2 chairs. So it was very convenient for me because I didn't really have to buy furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Furniture can be expensive, but also there's a lot of ways here that you could buy them secondhand. So if you're worried about that too, I bought a lot of my stuff off of Facebook Marketplace, a lot of my furniture. So if that is something that you're worried about, we also have a church around that does give out furniture in the fall to like incoming first year international students too. But obviously it's first come, first serve. But you don't have to purchase new ones is what I'm saying. It's not necessary to do that. Utilities are usually not included. So when I say utilities, I mean electricity, internet, water. Some apartments, they only charge you the rent and that includes the utilities, but there are some units that don't always pay for everything, or they're only paid for electricity and you have to pay for internet. So also make sure you're looking at that when you're looking for apartments is, okay, what utilities am I paying for apart from the rent itself? And you usually have to sign up for that separately. So remember, if you're living on campus, all of your bills is one single bill, sort of, right? You don't have to worry about extra things. If you're living off campus, you have a lot of things to worry about, and you're going to be responsible for a lot of things that you have to be very careful with. So every month you have to pay for electricity. You can't forget to pay for electricity. So you have to be responsible enough to know when your bills are due so you're paying them on time. Maybe putting reminders on your phone. A lot of them will send you letters in the mail. They'll even send you notifications on your phone if you have the application, if you have the app. But just being careful enough to remember what bills you have to pay. If you're living in a shared unit, one person could sign up for electricity, one person could sign up for internet. You could share that responsibility so it's not all you. But if you're living alone, you have to be very, very careful, and you have to be responsible enough to know when things are due. But if you're living in a shared unit, you could totally share that, split that responsibility. Do you guys have to pay for anything extra, in terms of utilities?
We have to pay only electricity, and that's something that one of my roommate takes care of, and he just gives us the bill and the receipts, and then all we have to do is just split the bill, and then we just pay him. So he pays the whole amount, and then we just give him the money, our share.
Where I live in our apartment, we have to pay extra for a garage, and then we have to pay extra for, I think, other amenities, I think to use the gym and stuff. So there is extra added on fees like that. But yeah.
Some apartments off campus also do provide roommate matching. So kind of like what we talked about earlier with on-campus housing, it would be very similar to that. And this roommate matching thing asks you about your preference, if you're an early bird or a night owl, if you smoke or you don't smoke. Asks you a bunch of questions, and then they try and match you with someone that they think is the best fit for you. So look at that as well. If you're if you're coming here and you don't know anybody here, definitely look at that as well. I'm gonna stop sharing this slide so that we can kind of talk a little bit more about. Do you guys have any questions? If you have any questions, please let me know, because I know it is a lot of information and it can get really overwhelming and complex, we're talking about it. What do you think was the best part about living on campus for you?
I'd say it's just the convenience, because, like I said, once you move off campus, you realize the winter is very harsh, and then it's not something that you can just keep commuting if you don't use the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But staying on campus, it was just the convenience of how close the campus was, and especially with the fact that every building's connected. You didn't really have to go out or interact with the code, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best part for me. And also the food, the availability of food everywhere. So whenever I needed, at whatever time, till 9 p.m., if I remember right, the dining center was open. So all I had to do is I can just literally just go in and come out anytime that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the best part.
And it is all you can eat style too. It's buffet style. So once you swipe your meal card in and you go in, you can eat as much as you want from wherever you want. And the menu does change every week. They also do take into consideration allergies or other preferences that you might have. I know that they also have a nutritionist, I want to say, on campus in the dining center that you could meet up with if you do have some serious allergies, or if you're someone that can't eat pork or can't eat beef, that you can work with them, and they would be able to help you out with that as well. It's pretty flexible.
Also during final season, they do the Sundays too, or whatever. The Sunday buffet, they first come first serve Sunday buffets. They do that every midterm and finals, which I think is super cool. A little fun fact in there, but
yeah, it's really fun. So yeah, definitely look at the meal plans as well. I mean, also in the dorms, don't you have a kitchen on every floor that you could cook in?
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. So you have a common area. It's a room, and also it's attached to the hall. So
we'll get to the question in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you usually find a microwave and then a stove to cook food. You can't really think about cooking food that way, because usually it's used by multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really spend a lot of time in that area, because usually a lot of students staying in the hall use the same kitchen. So it's usually just for microwave, or if it's something small, you can always use that kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does the university have gym to work out?
Yeah.
Yes, it's really nice too. I must say. We also have an indoor swimming pool. And then we also have a track and field area on campus inside, and then we also have one outside. If the weather is good, you could go out and like run outside, which is nice. No, it's free. If you're a full-time student here, you just need your student ID card that we mentioned earlier to get in and out, which is so convenient. In the summer, if you're taking summer classes, it's still free. Otherwise, you have to pay. You can either pay per session or like for the full summer term, but honestly, it's so cheap that it doesn't even feel like a lot for me. It's definitely worth it, especially. And they open pretty early, and they're open until pretty late. I know in the fall and spring, aren't they open like from 6 in the morning till 11 at night?
I know the pool, they do sessions around the swim team. So like before class last spring, I went in at 5 a.m. and swam. So like it was like that's how like early they would open. And I think they went till like 8 o'clock at night type of deal. So like they understand that like it's not always convenient for everybody, I think, which is super nice. Everybody's got a class schedule, and they like it when the community can come in and use it too, which is super. I think it's super cool. So it's just really nice. But yeah, and then there's another question. So security wise, how safe are the apartments off campus? Because PJ, you've lived off campus, you said all like your whole time here.
Yeah.
How has that been security wise? Like I've been fine. I scan in to get into my apartment, and like there's a bunch of locks to get in. So like I've never had an issue.
So to kind of preface that, I've been here almost 7 years now. So I've lived in a lot of different units. Let's see. At least 4 different types of apartment styles over the years. And I've never really had to worry about security. Mankato is very much like a campus community. So a lot of people that you do see are other college students. At least that's been my experience. I don't know about you guys. But very close. Like I've always lived pretty close to campus, and it's always been like other college students, and we all kind of understand each other in a way, even if we don't talk. There's like this unspoken understanding.
Yeah.
And I've never had to worry about my packages getting lost. It's never been an issue for me personally. I don't know about you guys. I've never had that experience. With my current apartment that I'm living at, security, like the apartment security will like kind of walk around. I keep saying campus, not campus. The security for the apartment usually walks around at night just to like make sure there's no like loud noises going on. Like no one's playing loud music during the weekdays because nobody wants that. But also kind of generally doing like a little stakeout. So I've always felt very safe in the Mankato community, even living off campus. What about you?
It's pretty much been the same for me as well. Like I've never really faced an issue where like I was like scared or anything. Like my apartment complex doesn't exactly provide like a security, but then it's also like very safe. And then usually there are like police and everyone just roaming around the area. So it's not something that has really bothered me, like at least. So
sometimes I go out on walks pretty late in the nights, like
2 a.m., 3 a.m. Yeah.
I usually go out with people, like I go out with other people, but I still like to still be safe. I'm just a paranoid person. It's nothing to do with Mankato community. But it's in the winter time, me and my friends would go out on walks at like 2 a.m. because we're like, oh, there's not much snow. Let's just get some fresh air, and we just go out on a walk. Or we'd go and get pizza. Actually, that was our thing. Me and my friends, a lot of them when they were still here in the winter, we would order pizza. We would do carry out, and then we would just walk in the snow. We would dress well. So dress well, don't get frostbite, but we would walk to the pizza place, get the pizza, get the drinks, Coke, Pepsi, whatever. And then we would come back home. So that was like kind of our thing. It would be like really late at night too. It was like a tradition. Someone has a question. Is it advisable to live on campus or off campus just for a non-traditional, the age difference? Okay, for a non-traditional student. I want to say it's really up to you. ultimately, it's really, really up to you, even as a non-traditional student. We do have an office on campus that works with non-traditional students, and they do provide support. I count as a non-traditional student too, so I get emails from them. I get a newsletter from them every often about like, hey, resources on campus. This is what you could do, and then I know that I could always go to their office too if I needed to. So, really, ultimately, it's personal preference, and if it's something that you do want to do, it's up to you. But yes, there is a network on campus that works specifically with non-traditional students, and they'd be able to support you if you needed any help. Thank you for all the great questions. You have a lot of questions that are very, I like them. Does anybody else have any questions? I feel like we've been yapping away for a bit because we have like about 15 minutes left. Also, like signing the lease, be careful with that. Also, make sure you read through it. A lot of people don't, but make sure you read when they send you your lease. If you're living off campus, make sure you go through the lease carefully about what their policies are, because every apartment, like every property, has a different policy, or they can vary depending on the units. So keep that in mind. If you're going to live off campus, make sure you keep the apartment in good condition. Because when you move out, they will come in and do checks on the condition of the apartment. This is where the security deposit comes in, because you will be paying for security deposit. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining the apartment in a good condition, so that when they move out and they come in and do checks, they can return at least a partial amount of that security deposit that you paid for. If you've like really damaged the apartment, they might even ask you to pay out of pocket to cover the damages. So if you're living off campus, be responsible about the space you're in. Some units will allow you to like hang nails and stuff. Some don't, if you want to put like a picture frame or something. So be mindful of that. That's why I say read your contract, read your lease before you sign it, because everyone has a different expectation of their tenants living. So the question is, so there are non-traditional students living on campus, just asking this because of the age difference. I don't have a specific number, and I cannot confirm how many or if any there are. But if you're coming here, I don't think they would look at the application and say, oh, this student's 29 or anything like that. Not that I'm aware of. So I wouldn't, yeah. But if you are still like very curious, since we don't work with residential life or anything, it's really hard for us to like give you a concrete answer. You could always email them as well, or give them a call if you can, if you're able to, and ask them that as well. Because I feel like they'd be able to give you a more reliable answer than we can. Also, living on campus, some floors are just single gender, so it's all male and female, all male or all female, and there are some that are mixed gender. So also keep that in mind. Do you guys have any other questions? If you guys have questions, if you want to add it to the Q&A tab, it's a lot easier, because then we can like show it for students that are watching on YouTube. Did you guys have anything to add, Olivia and Ashra?
I just think that like housing is very much personal preference, very much kind of what you're looking for to get out of the experience, I think too. Yeah, take a peek. That link is going to be a great resource to look at. Maybe when we're done here, go take a peek at it, and that might be a good thing to kind of decide, or be like that's kind of what I want to do, and
Yeah, absolutely. It's really personal preference.
And you can
We're
do
just
right. You can do on campus housing for 1 year, and your
Mhm.
sophomore year, you can be like, maybe I want to try off campus. You're not. That's 12 months, right?
And like a lot of students, that's what they do is they live on campus their first year just to experience that
Mhm.
on campus living, and then they do choose to live off campus. There are some people that live on campus all 4 years of their school here, and then there are some that never do, like
Mhm.
me
Yeah.
and Olivia. So ultimately, it's personal preference. Personally, I wish I did at least my first year,
Yeah,
but you know
I
that.
feel like I missed out on a little bit, like, because I feel like MSU is so great about putting on events. They're so great about, like, their clubs are pretty amazing. I think, like, I wish I would have lived on campus to like be able to be more a part of like the different clubs, go to like different events, different games, different sports. But I didn't know about them until afterwards because I didn't live on campus, or I didn't have the opportunity to go because I lived off campus. So you know, I think that's always something to think about too.
Yeah, I have a very similar experience because, I would go home and I would be like, well, I'll take a nap and then I'll go to the event. No.
No,
When I took a nap and I'm like, you know what? I'll just skip it today. And
I'll go to the next one.
yeah, I'll go to the next one. That's what happened. And I could have made a lot more connections if I had lived on campus. But you know, it's not a big regret or anything. It's just something like that's kind of in the back of my mind, like, oh yeah, I wish I had done that, but it's fine. I didn't. Oh well, whatever. But were you able to go to a lot more stuff then since you?
Yeah, no, compared to like when I was staying on campus to when I moved off campus, there were like a lot of events that I attended because it was like we were staying like we used to go as a group and everything. And
Mhm.
once you moved off campus, it's just harder to travel. Like I said, it's very convenient, like staying on campus because of how close it is to everything. So usually when you like move off campus, it just everything just changes. Like it's like I won't say like in a bad way, but compared to like when it comes to like going to events, you just become a little bit more lazy. At least that was the case for me. So
Yeah, just become a little bit more lazy because you're like, oh, I need to go home. I'll
yeah.
shower and I'll come back, I
Hmm.
guess.
Right.
But that's
I feel
just
like yeah,
yeah, that's
that
just
first
part of college life,
Hmm.
right
honestly.
that first week too, I feel like you kind of see all the freshmen come through or whoever comes through, and they're usually in groups with their dorm mates. Like
Hmm.
you're pretty much whoever your roommate is. You're pretty much you do things with them. You do things with your group, and that person kind of becomes your person for that month, and then you kind of branch off. And I feel like I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that on campus when you're walking through, or like when you go to class, you see like the roommates tend to take the same classes or something, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, you guys must live together.
Yeah,
Hmm.
no, yeah, totally.
Or they're like
Um,
talking about something. I'm like, how are you guys talking about that? Oh, we live together. We were talking about this like 2 hours ago, and I was like, oh, okay, makes sense.
cool.
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, yeah,
Also, orientation's a great time to
yeah.
make friends. So when you're here in the fall, I know you're probably going to be jet lagged and irritated because you're jet lagged. And there's going to be a lot of stuff to do. But orientation week is also such a great week to make friends. People I met during my orientation week, I'm still friends with, like years later.
Me too.
So take that as an opportunity to make connections too, if you're like really worried about that. So the question that we got just now is, what are learning communities? Could someone explain briefly? Is that like a study group or something different? Do you want to talk about it? Or do you want me to?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, so learning communities essentially is you're going to be. I think I already shared this link in the group earlier. So if you want to
Mhm.
look at that, go ahead. But learning communities essentially are students that are in the same academic program or students that are within that same umbrella of like program. So they do host like study groups at the same time. You're living on the same floor. You can apply to live on the same floor with people who are the same major you are. So you would all most of you, if you're starting the same year, you would also be enrolled in pretty much the same classes. So not only are you living together on the same floor with someone that's in the same program, you're also taking similar classes. They'll also host study groups for you. So it's essentially you are kind of with people that are in the same field as you are, and you're like working towards the same goal together. And that's what makes learning community so special, because you're starting with someone that understands you on like that level of, we're both working towards this nursing degree and we're taking similar classes. Let's help each other. So that's kind of what learning communities are. I hope that helped. Olivia, do you have anything to add?
No, I think like the nursing, I think it like a lot of those are very, very like high intensity too. So it's nice to have somebody there to, go walk with while you're doing that, kind of being like, oh, you took that class, I took it too. Like, here, let me help you. Or you took that class, I need help doing chemistry. Like, can you walk me through this professor? Or what do you think of this professor? Like, and I think that's a valuable tool to have. And you make friends, like you said, the orientation week. Like, I have friends 6 years later that I still talk to, that I'm like, did you have this professor? Like, it's like your learning community friends are people that you like take with you, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, the link that I sent you has links to all the available learning communities for fall, like 20 for this term. So go ahead and look at that. And then you also have a learning community coordinator. So it's not like you're kind of out in the open by yourself. There is someone that's helping you navigate that as the coordinator. Someone's there to tell you like, hey, let's do it this way. They're going to be organizing the study groups for you guys. So it's not like you're kind of out in the open. You're welcome. You have such great questions.
I know. They're amazing.
Yeah, I love that. We're kind of nearing the end of the webinar. Do you guys have any final questions for us before we kind of say our goodbyes and, I guess not. Any final words, Olivia?
I would say take a peek at that link. That link is going to be a great tool to kind of figure out what you want to do. Research Mankato, research MSU, kind of figure out what's going to work best for you. I think that's do what you got to do, I think.
Mm-hmm. I know that we also have like videos of tours of the units, the on-campus dorms, also off-campus like properties. They do that too. But if you're like really concerned, you could go on YouTube and just search up like MNSU Mankato dorms. There's like tours that they've put together that you could look at too if you're interested. What about you?
No, I think I agree with Oliver. Just take a look at the links that we've provided right now. Just go to the university website, see if there's any questions, because most of the questions are answered on the website. And anything that you need, like we're always here to like help you out. So that's not a big deal. But like I said, just go through the website, see if you have any questions. All of it are answered on the website.
Thank you both. I'm going to echo off of what they're both saying. Do what works best for you, ultimately. Also, make sure you're doing your research. Like you have absolutely like looked at everything and said, okay, you know what, this is what I'm comfortable with. Because a lot of the times, once you've selected that option, you're kind of stuck with that for a whole year. It's not that easy to break a lease. It's not that easy to like just say, I don't want to live on campus anymore. I'm going to go out. So, be kind of like think about that and then do what works best for you. Even if you live off campus and you don't want to cook, you can still get the meal plan. So it's not like you have to live on campus if you're someone that absolutely does not cook or hates cooking. That's fine. You can still get the meal plan. If you're signing a lease, make sure you're reading through the terms and conditions really well. I know we don't like to read that much, but you do want to make sure you're signing, and like making sure you're aware of everything that's on there. So be careful of that. And then make sure you have like the security deposit and the first and last month's rent. That's what they're going to ask for most of the time. It really depends on the apartment. Again, I can't say this is the same for everyone, but and think about how many roommates you want to live with. If you really want to save money, you could even do 5-bedroom apartments. I've lived in a 5-bedroom apartment for a year, and honestly, it worked just fine. It was 5 bed, 2 baths, but it worked just fine because everyone had really different like school schedules. Like it's not like you're all going to have the same classes at the same time. So it worked out really well for me too, and that was really affordable as well. So think about that. All the links that I sent you, go through them like they've already said before. If you're looking at more off-campus housing, that was the first link I sent. And that one, you'll be able to see what kind of apartments are available, how much the prices range at, and then you can kind of make that decision off of that. And I also sent you the residential life rates as well, so you can look at that too. And then if you're living off campus, again, the bus that we talked about earlier, we do have the school bus that goes to almost most of the off-campus apartments. So you wouldn't necessarily have to walk to campus, especially in the wintertime when there's snow. I've never had to walk like really far for school. Right now I live really close, so it's just more convenient for me to walk. But in the past, I just took the bus and it worked just fine. And they run from like 6 in the morning until 10 p.m. at night. So it's enough time. If you have like morning classes or night classes, it's still enough time to, take the bus and come back. I know Olivia mentioned the app earlier. We also have an app that helps you track where the bus is. It helps you track the route. And you just need your student ID card to get in. Whether you live on campus or off campus, the gym is still free for you. So like, I feel like I forgot to say that earlier. So even if you live off campus, you can still access the gym. You just need your student ID card. Alrighty. Any last questions? I'm assuming not. Anything on YouTube? No? Cool.
Mm-mm.
Alrighty. Well, I hope this was helpful. I know this was a lot of like information thrown in at you. You can always rewatch this session on our YouTube. I'm pretty sure all of our recorded series like sessions are on there. So if you're like later, like 2 hours later, you're like, wait, I actually don't remember what they said about it, go to our YouTube. It's on there and you can rewatch it. But otherwise, thank you for attending the webinar. We really appreciate it. Again, if you have any questions, let us know. I'm actually going to add my email down here because I've found that students do have questions sometimes. I'll try my best to answer. Otherwise, I'll just redirect you guys to the right department. I'm adding my email down here. So email me if you have any questions. And I'll try my best to help you. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, evening, night. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Gabrielle. I hope I'll see you here in the fall then. Bye. Thanks for the virtual hug. I appreciate it. That's so sweet. Bye.